Hello, this is Mrs. Decker, and this is Objective 1A, finding the mole ratio. So 1A says I can determine the mole ratio between two different substances in a reaction. So in order to determine the mole ratio, we must start with a balanced equation. Here we have a combustion reaction that is unbalanced. If we look, we have one carbon on the left and one on the right, so that's okay. We have 4 hydrogens on the left and only 2 on the right, so we need to add a 2 in front of the H2O. So that gives us 4 hydrogens on the right now. That also makes it so that there are 4 oxygens on the right, so we need to add a 2 in front of the O2 to balance out the oxygens. So now we have a balanced chemical equation. The coefficients in front of each compound represent the number of moles of that compound in each reaction. Remember, because of conservation of mass, we need to have the same number of atoms on the left side as the right side. So we get the molar ratio from the coefficients. There are 2 different ways to write a mole ratio, so you can write them either way if I ask you to find the mole ratio. So for this problem, we're going to find the mole ratio between CH4 and H2O. So there's no coefficient in front of the CH4, so that means that the coefficient is 1. So we have 1 mole of CH4 to 2 moles of H2O. So now it's not enough to write just 1 to 2. You have to write out 1 mole of CH4 to 2 moles of H2O. The other way is to write it as a fraction. So 1 mole of CH4 over 2 moles of H2O. And either way is correct. I prefer the fraction because as we get deeper into this unit, we're going to be using T-charts again, and the fraction just makes more sense to me. But either way is just fine. Now the last thing you need to know is that you never ever reduce mole ratios. The coefficients for the balanced equation should already be in the lowest common terms. So even though you might be able to reduce a mole ratio, you can't because the other coefficients in the equation wouldn't be able to be reduced any further. So never reduce your mole ratios. Leave them as they're written. There's some practice in the next page of your packet, so go ahead and work on that and let me know if you need help.